Oh boy, I don't know what to do here. I am really conflicted. I am frustrated, to say the least. Now, this is a genuine thing I'm about to say. If you're watching this, hi, hello. If you've listened to this record or you plan to listen to this record, I genuinely, sincerely would like to know what you think of it. If you love it, if you hate it, if you think it's somewhere in the middle, because I personally have a somewhat interesting relationship with the music of Thundercat. The thing is, I love Thundercat. I do. I love Thundercat. But my love is always delayed, if you will, for some odd reason. Because going back through his entire discography, his first couple records came out, and I thought to myself, this isn't really for me. I don't think I get it. I don't think I like it very much. But it wasn't until years after where I would go back and I actually found some sort of appreciation for what he was doing and his style overall. And then it wasn't until his 2017 record, Drunk, where I really started to latch on to what he was doing. And the funny thing about that is, I still didn't love that album at first. It wasn't probably until 6 months later where I genuinely really loved that record. I still love it very much to this day. And then we go to his fourth album, 2020's It Is What It Is. Now, that was the most I liked a record on first listen as far as Thundercat was concerned. But again, it wasn't until months later where I really loved that album. It was back in my rotation, heavily in my rotation, and I couldn't stop listening to that album. Now, here we are, 6 years later, with his first record since. This is called Distracted. And I feel like this album is easily his least adventurous and just kind of flat in a sense as far as sonically and in variance. I just find this to be kind of, I don't know, just not dynamic in any kind of way. And I'm struggling to really find something to latch on while listening to this record. And I'm trying to think, is this going to happen again to me where in 6 months I'm like, wait a minute, I actually love this record. I'm listening to it a lot, and now I get it. I feel like, though, this will be the one where that doesn't happen. Now, on here, again, you have his signature blend of funk, soul, and jazz with his expert bass playing, his somewhat limited falsetto vocals, and I just feel like all of these songs, or most of these songs, are things that I've heard him do before over and over again, but better. And I also feel like it doesn't help that I heard so much of the record before it actually came out. Like, I just feel like there were too many singles leading up to this record. And speaking of the singles, the track on here, No More Lies, the one with Tame Impala, I was surprised that that song is on this album. And it's not even tacked on at the end like a bonus track. It's the second song on the album. That song came out 3 years ago. Like, did the album rollout, the promotion for this record, start out in 2023? I just don't really know how to feel about that personally. I just feel like that should have been left in the past and this should have felt a lot more fresh because quite a number of these songs have been heard 3 years ago, a year ago, 6, 8 months ago. And another thing about this album that I found a bit odd, maybe odd is not fair because, well, pun intended, it is what it is. But on his last record, It Is What It Is, that came out in the aftermath after the passing of his good friend, Mac Miller. And there were obvious themes pertaining to that on that record. But the odd thing is, this album feels a lot darker and more depressing in compared to that album. It's clear that he's still going through a few things. He's trying to work out a few things and kind of come to some sort of conclusion as far as his personal feelings. And obviously, there's no time limit. I'm not telling Thundercat to get over anything or he should stop singing about certain people or about certain subjects. That's not at all what I'm saying. But I just find it kind of interesting, if you will, that this record still feels kind of stuck in a sense. And it's just odd to me. And I do want to say, actually, I want to go back to Mac Miller because there's a track on here with Mac Miller. And usually I have some sort of recoiling feelings when it comes to posthumous use of people's vocals. But I actually do really love what Thundercat did with that track. It generally feels like Mac is still here with us. He did right by Mac Miller with that song. That song is dope. I don't know, man. I just feel like there are far too many tracks on here with the same mid-tempo vibe to it. And I also feel like the signature humor of Thundercat is lacking on this record. This record is not anywhere near as funny and as fun as his previous work. And look, if it happens again in 6 months, if I actually love this record and it's back in my rotation, I will gladly do another review for this album. But until then, 6 sticks of butter. Peace, love, butter.